Today we're going to talk about water. In 3 John 2, it says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth." Then in Ministry of Healing, page 127, paragraph 1, it says, "Disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from a violation of the laws of health. In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained, unhealthful conditions should be changed, wrong habits corrected. Then nature is to be assisted in her effort to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system." Ministry of Healing, same page, next paragraph says, "Pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power, these are the true remedies. Every person should have a knowledge of nature's remedial agencies and how to apply them. It is essential both to understand the principles involved in the treatment of the sick and to have a practical training that will enable one rightly to use this knowledge." Then in Child Guidance, page 361, paragraph 2, it says, "We should educate ourselves not only to live in harmony with the laws of health, but to teach others the better way." 11 Manuscript Release, page 187, paragraph 3 says, "Become more intelligent in regard to the laws of life." GCDB, which is General Conference Daily Bulletin, January 30, 1893, paragraph 2 says, "Educate people in the laws of life so that they may know how to preserve health." Why? So that they may know how to preserve health. "It is the duty of every person for his own sake and for the sake of humanity to inform himself in regards to the laws of life and conscientiously to obey them." That's Ministry of Healing, page 128, paragraph 1. Then in 7 Testimonies, it says, "True religion and the laws of health go hand in hand." KC, page 20, paragraph 4 says, "You are to apply the laws of life and health to your own case. In violating the laws of health, even in doing the service of God, you misrepresent your Maker. So even when we're doing the Lord's work, we're not to violate the laws of health." So anyway, today's topic, as I said, is about water. Water is nature's #1 natural source for quenching the thirst. Humans, animals, and plant life all cannot live without water. Each could only live a couple days without it, yet on a daily basis, most Americans are deficient. Approximately 85 to 90% of people do not get enough water, which results in many of the common ailments. Most of these which could be helped simply by increasing the amount of water a person takes in each day, as well as drinking the proper type of water. The water in our bodies is being depleted every day from simply things we do, like breathing, voiding, and other daily functions our body does on a regular basis. For example, when we get up in the morning, most people, first thing they do is go to the bathroom and void. And after voiding, we lose on an average anywhere from 240 milliliters to 1,000 milliliters of urine without even thinking about replacing this fluid. Therefore, most people start out their day by being dehydrated. And experts that study the importance of water are now saying if your lips are dry and your urine has a yellowish or darker color, these are 2 signs that you are already extremely dehydrated. And internal damage is already taking place. The color of your urine should be pale. Many years back, I had a friend that worked in a clinic in California, and every day they would get patients who complained of lower back pain. Of course, the usual routine after having checked their vital signs and have them void in a cup. Well, guess what? Most of these patients' urine was anywhere from medium yellow to very dark, and some even the color of tea. So what does this mean? They didn't have enough water, and when you're dehydrated, your kidneys will suffer, and because the kidneys are located in the backside area, the results felt will be lower back pain. In reality, what is happening is your kidneys are telling you, hey, we're thirsty, we want some water. Well, think of them as a dried up sponge. When kidneys get dried up, the functions they're supposed to be carrying on are being interrupted because of a lack of water to that area of the body. And once the water needed is taken in, most cases, the pain will go away. Many times it's that simple, not always though. As I mentioned, these persons' urine was either medium yellow, dark yellow, or very dark brown like tea. The color of our urine is supposed to be clear or almost completely pale. If it's not, you're dehydrated. And the darker and more concentrated your urine is, the more dehydrated you are. Also, if your urine has a strong odor to it, that's another sign of dehydration, although it could be a sign of other problems as well. But it would be wise to get plenty of water in your body first before moving on and thinking it's something worse. If the water doesn't help with the odor, then you really need to find out if there's an underlying problem. Now we're going to talk about the chemistry of water a little bit. Water is a chemical compound with the chemical formula H2O. It is tasteless, it's odorless, and it doesn't have any color. It is the basic fluid of all living organisms. And do you know that we're told in the book How to Live that the human body is 80% water? That's very interesting. Now in the Bible, in Amos 8 verse 11, it says, his water shall be sure. The Spirit of Prophecy tells us in Counsels on Health, page 135, paragraph 2, teach the people that it is better to know how to keep well than how to cure disease. Ministry of Healing 237, paragraph 1 says, in health and in sickness, pure water is one of heaven's choicest blessings. You hear that? Water is a blessing. It is the beverage which God provided to quench the thirst of animals and man. Drunk freely, it helps to supply the necessities of the system and to assist nature to resist disease. Now, I remember years ago, I didn't even want water. I wanted to drink soda or whatever else was available. But now, I literally crave water, and I know that I need water, and I drink the proper amount every day. First thing in the morning when I wake up, that's the first thing I want to do after I use the restroom is drink some water. Now, page 230, paragraph 2 says, I am to place myself in the most favorable condition. Under the doctors God has provided pure air, pure water, and the healing precious sunlight. The doctors that God has provided is the acronym NewStart, nutrition, exercise, water, fresh air, sunshine, etc. Now, what kind of water should we drink? Well, Counsels on Diet and Foods, page 419, paragraph 2 says, I should drink pure, soft water. Counsels on Health, page 61, paragraph 2 says, if those who are afflicted would assist nature in her efforts by the use of pure, soft water, much suffering would be prevented. You hear that? Much suffering could be prevented by drinking the proper kind of water. What does pure water do? Well, pure water to drink and fresh air to breathe invigorate our vital organs, purify the blood, and help nature in her task of overcoming the bad conditions of the system. That's ML, page 139, paragraph 3. Ministry of Healing, page 237, paragraph 1 says, pure water drunk freely helps to supply the necessities of the system and assist nature to resist disease. Pure soft water is one of the most effective remedies for disease. We're told in page 225, the most effective remedies for disease are pure soft water. Also, pure soft water can help the sick get well. We're told in Counsels on Diet and Foods, thousands have died for want of pure water and pure air who might have lived these blessings they need in order to become well. If they would become enlightened and let medicine alone and accustom themselves to outdoor exercise and to air in their houses, summer and winter, the use of soft water for drinking and bathing purposes, they could be comparatively well and happy instead of dragging out a miserable existence. Wow, that's page 419 in Counsels on Diet and Foods, paragraph 4. Now, what's the best water for cleansing the tissues? Well, the pure soft water that we talked about. Water is the best liquid possible to cleanse our tissues, we're told in Counsels on Diet and Foods, page 420. Now, how often should I drink water? Well, we should drink water freely, we're told in Counsels on Diet and Foods, page 419. It says, I should drink freely of water. And then Ministry of Healing, page 237 says, pure water drunk freely. Now, there is a water calculation formula because many people don't like to drink water and they want an exact amount of how much to drink. And most people really think that they drink enough water, but unfortunately they don't. And as a result, approximately 85 to 90% of those people are very dehydrated. They either don't drink enough water or they're not drinking it properly. That's right. There's a right way and a wrong way of drinking water. So therefore, to ensure that people not only get enough water, but that they drink it the right way, we have a water calculation formula. And I'm going to tell you about that right now. Well, number one, the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you should get some warm water and put 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice in it. Not that concentrated stuff you buy in the store that has a bunch of other garbage in it, but real fresh lemon juice from a real lemon. Or you can buy lemon juice. Lakewood has a brand of lemon juice that is just pure organic lemons, and they put it in a bottle and seal it, and it's very good lemon juice too. Now, the next thing you do is you drink that water within the first hour that you're awake. And this is to replace the fluid that you lose in the morning when you go to the bathroom. And, you know, putting that lemon in it makes it even taste better than just plain water. A lot of people don't like the taste of plain water, so you can put the lemon in there. Then, number 2, you weigh yourself, whatever, if you don't know what you weigh, and you take that weight and you divide it by 2. And now you take that answer and convert it to ounces. And that's the total number of ounces that you'll be drinking for the entire day on top of that 16 ounces that you drank that first hour you were awake. So the next thing you want to do is calculate the number of hours you're awake each day, which should be 14, because the first hour, you don't count the first hour awake of drinking your lemon water, and then the last hour before you go to bed is you're not supposed to be drinking. So you figure out what time you get up and what time you go to sleep. And so if you were awake for 16 hours, then you, like I said, subtract that hour in the morning, the hour at night, and that's 14 hours. So then you take that number of ounces and you divide it by the 14. And whatever number that is, that's the amount of ounces you need to drink per hour. And it usually comes up to be very little. And people are amazed and they're like, oh, yeah, I can drink that little bit amount. And especially if you sip it and take a little sip every 15 minutes or something, you can easily get your water in. But when you tell someone that they have to drink 64 ounces of water in the day, or 75 ounces or 90 ounces, they get overwhelmed and think, oh, I can't drink all that water. That's too much. But they can when you do it this way. And by drinking water this way, you not only get enough of it, but you're drinking it properly. Most people, they'll wait like a couple hours before they even take their first sip of water for the day. Well, that causes them to be dehydrated. So therefore, then when they do drink, then they start gulping their water down, which in turn causes the water to run right through them, and then they're still dehydrated. So by drinking water every hour, you're helping your body to absorb and store the water instead of it being flushed out. Now, do we want to drink before our meals? We're told in Counsels on Diet and Food, page 420, if anything is needed to quench thirst, pure water drunk some little time before or some little time after the meal is all that nature requires. So in doing more research and reading other quotes, and what Sister White did was she drank tea. She told us about drinking tea about 30 minutes after her meal. So we figure that a little time is about 30 minutes. So 30 minutes before your meal, stop drinking, and 30 minutes after your meal, start drinking. And we're also told in Counsels on Diet and Foods, page 303, that drafts of clear, hot water taken before eating will never do any harm, but will rather be productive of good. So are we to drink with our meals? We're told in Counsels on Health, page 119, paragraph 2, many make a mistake in drinking cold water with their meals. Food should not be washed down. Taken with meals, water diminishes the flow of the saliva, and the colder the water, the greater the injury to the stomach. Ice water or ice lemonade taken with meals will arrest digestion until the system has imparted sufficient warmth to the stomach to enable it to take up its work again. So what the stomach has to do is warm up that cold water that you drank. So you don't want to drink with your meals at all, because that messes up digestion. Now, here's some diseases I'm going to tell you about that are related to not drinking enough water. First is allergies, then angina pain, and that's chest pains appearing to be like a heart attack coming on. Then there's arthritis, asthma, back pain, blood clots, blood pressure, even high blood pressure is what I'm talking about, blood sugar, high blood sugar, chest pain, colitis pain, constipation, depression, a desire to overeat, diabetes, dry eyes, dry hair, dry mouth, dry skin, dyspeptic pain, false appendicitis, and that's when people mistake appendicitis attacks. That's not really what's happening. A fast heart rate, fatigue, headaches, heartburn, hiatal hernia, hiccups, high cholesterol, kidney problems, lower back pain, migraines, mucus buildup, muscle pain, nausea or vomiting during the first trimester of a woman's pregnancy, neck pain, overweight, obesity, just any kind of pain, reflux disease, stress, ulcers, and much more. Remember years ago the commercial about Heinz ketchup, and in the commercial they would sing a song called Anticipation? Well, this was because the ketchup was so thick, it would take so long for the ketchup to come out. Now, if you ever experienced that problem, do you remember what they did to help thin out the ketchup so it would hurry up and pour through the hole? Or what you would do, not what they did. If you were in that situation, what we would do is we would add water and put the cap back on and shake it up until it was able to be poured. Well, that's what happens to your blood in the body when you're not adequately hydrated. And this thick blood causes a rise in your blood pressure because the heart has to work a lot harder for the blood to be pumped through all the vessels and veins and arteries that it's supposed to pump through. And in many cases, when a person has high blood pressure and you ask them how much water they've had, you'll find they're very deficient. And some, in many cases, when you give them a couple glasses of water to drink, their blood pressure goes down tremendously. It's not all cases, but in very many. By the way, did you know that when a person drinks less than 5 cups of water a day, they double their risk of heart attacks? This is because, as stated, dehydration causes the blood to be very thick and prevents it from getting to the heart, which can cause a heart attack. I mentioned allergies at the very beginning. When there isn't enough water in your body, the histamine will attempt to replace the fluid in the body, and you'll have the symptoms of allergies, such as sneezing, watery eyes, etc. But in many cases, giving people who suffer severely from allergies plenty of water will help those allergies to go away. Another major problem seen from dehydration is insanity. Yes, I said insanity. Isn't that amazing? It has been shown that a percentage of those in insane asylums, when given plenty of water, their insanity went away. Isn't that amazing? So if you know anyone who is considered insane, try your best to encourage them to drink a lot of water. Now, we're going to talk about external use of water. In Ministry of Healing, page 237, paragraph 1, it says, the external application of water is one of the easiest and most satisfactory ways of regulating the circulation of the blood. So I'm going to touch a little bit on this. Now, if you're suffering from head congestion, you can stick your feet in a basin or dishpan of water as hot as you can tolerate it, and make sure you cover up your feet and your ankles. Then add about a half a cup to 1 cup of mustard. And I'm referring to the condiment called mustard, yes. You whisk that in the water, then stick your feet in there for about 30 minutes. Be sure to keep a cold rag on your head and around the back of your neck. And this will prevent the blood that is congested in your head area from quickly dropping down. The cold rag constricts the vessels in the head and the neck area, causing the blood to leave the head area at an even level. This will prevent you from feeling like you're going to pass out. If your water cools off before the 30 minutes are up, which it will, just continue adding hot water to the basin, making sure you don't burn your feet. What I've done to people before is have a tea kettle with boiling water in it, and then just lift their feet up and pour a little bit of that boiling water in when the water gets cool, and then warms it up again. But then after 30 minutes is up, what you do is you lift your feet up and pour ice cold water over them, and that's to close your pores. And then you dry your feet off very well. And this water treatment works very well for nasal and head congestion as well as headaches. But if you have a headache, you might want to try drinking water first. Now, this is a remedy for a headache, and this includes migraines. Increase your water intake. Immediately drink 1 8-ounce cup of water, and then in 10 minutes, drink another cup. And you do this every 10 minutes for the next 90 minutes. Be sure every time you drink a cup of water, you write down a slash mark or something on a piece of paper to keep track, because it's easy to lose track of how many you've had. And if you have a timer, after you drink a cup of water, set the timer for 10 minutes. Then drink your next cup until you have drunk all 9 cups, or if the headache is gone before that, then you can stop. Now, if you would like more information regarding the internal or external use of water, you can go online and do a Google search. But I want to mention a book that I highly recommend. It's written by Dr. F. Batman, and I can't pronounce his last name. It's Galidge or something like that. It's G-H-E-L-I-D-J-I. And the title of the book is Your Body's Many Cries for Water. I believe every person alive should read that book and find out how crucial water really is. Now, from the book How to Live, which was by Ellen and James White and others, this was the very, very first health book for God's Seventh-day Adventist people. Sister White highly endorsed the reading of this book and gave it to all new believers. You can look that up in 3SM 276.2 to 277.3, and also in 1 Testimonies 666, paragraph 2. Now, I'm taking the following from Dr. Jackson's lectures on the use of water on the human body, published in the Laws of Life for April 1860. Here's the quality of water to be used. Water, to be of the highest benefit when used, either by the healthy or sick, should be pure and soft. By purity, I mean freedom from impregnation by mineral substances or earthly salts, or the infusion of vegetable matter, either or all of which render it more or less unfit for external or internal application. There never was a greater mistake in the use of an agent whose natural and ordinary effect is to promote human health than is made by those who are led to believe that water impregnated with earthy and medicinal substances is more beneficial than water which is entirely free from them. Hence the popular belief that to wash the body in medicated water or use it as a drink is superior to the use of pure water leads to most doleful results. Water, therefore, which is to be used for bathing or drinking purposes, should be as free from all substances which do not enter essentially into its composition as it is possible to obtain it. Hence, in addition to its purity, it should be soft. Now, hard water is neither fit to use as a detergent nor as a diluent. Its unfitness for external use upon the body is readily perceived by whoever applies it for any length of time. I can personally testify to that too, because, you know, in the past when we moved somewhere, I could immediately tell the water was hard. As you see, I have long hair and I have natural curly hair, and hard water does a terrible number on my hair. And my hands get super dried out too, so I immediately know if the water's hot. Now, continuing on reading, for the skin, which is in its healthy conditions, is soft and velvety to the touch. It feels to one who has the sense of touch nicely developed, as if it was covered with oil, and then rubbed with the softest material till it is polished like mahogany. When it is washed for any length of time in hard water, loses that softness and acquires in its stead a roughness and harshness which is very unpleasant to the sight and to the touch. Housewives who have their hands in much water know the difference between the effects on their skin between hard and soft water. And that is true too. I can surely tell that too. Now, anyway, water as a drink. It is not only for its effects upon the skin and indirectly upon the organs lying immediately subjacent to the skin that water should be pure and soft, but if possible, its effects upon the internal structure of the body when taken as a drink render it more imperatively necessary that pure and soft water should be used. 80% of the human body, remember I said, is made up of water. So if you take a person weighing 100 pounds and place him where all the fluids in his body can be removed, all you have left is the dry material, and he would be reduced to 20 pounds. Now, I wish to call your attention to the unfitness of all waters which are simply hard for use as a drink and for the purposes of cookery. On no single point is there need of enlightenment more than on this, of the superior quality of soft over hard water as a hygienic agent. Not only is hard water productive in many instances of diseased kidneys, irritation of the bladder, mucus dyspepsia, and scrofulous development, but as I've said before, its effects on the skin are to leave it rough, causing it to put on a dry, scaly appearance, making it to crack, and its effects on the mucous membrane are even worse, creating an irritation of that texture, serving to introduce dyspeptic conditions, sore throat, nasal, inactivity of the liver, costiveness, piles, and headache. Anyway, we need to really be sure that we are drinking and using and cooking with pure, soft water. Also, it says, continuing on in this same reading, it says that I am satisfied that right views and a practical reformation on this point on the part of the people would do much toward introducing them to better conditions of health. I should advise every family who may read this letter and who use hard water either for drink or culinary purposes to take measures immediately to supply themselves with soft water in abundant quantities. And if it can only be obtained for being caught in reservoirs as it falls from the clouds, to filter it before it is used. Filtered rainwater is perfectly unobjectable as a drink and has an expenditure from $5 to $20, and the purchase of a filter would secure to any family in this land the means of purifying all the water they might need for drink and cooking purposes. Of course, now it's probably more expensive than that, but it's well worth it. Now, you can get water systems from Berkey, Culligan, Echo, Life Sources, Pelican, Pro Water. The one we have is from Culligan, and it is just a spigot that's on our sink, and that is all of our pure water. Then we also have a soft water downstairs by the water heater, where you hook up a literal soft water tank and makes the water soft throughout the whole house. So our drinking water and cooking water, I have soft pure water coming out from the spigot on the kitchen sink, and then we bathe in soft water. Now, you can, do a Google search and find out which systems are set up for your whole house if you want to, but you don't really need soft pure water to flush your toilet and, for certain things like that, washing the car or whatever. But, study it out and check it out and do your research. But that's the system that we have is Culligan, and we've had it for probably 25 years, and it's really been a good system. We have a 10-gallon tank, which is plenty for us. Now, maybe a bigger family would need a bigger tank, I don't know, but I don't even know if they make bigger tanks anymore. But like I said, our system is very old, but it works great. Now, I'm going to read you one last quote. It's from Medical Ministry, page 22. It says, "There is now positive need, even with physician reformers in line of treatment of disease, that greater painstaking effort be made to carry forward and upward the work for themselves, and to interestedly instruct those who look for them for medical skill to ascertain the cause of their infirmities. They should call their attention in a special manner to the laws which God has established, which cannot be violated with impunity. They dwell much on the working of disease, but do not, as a general rule, arouse the attention to the laws which must be sacredly and intelligently obeyed to prevent disease." Well, that's our talk for today. I hope that what you heard on here will be a blessing to you and your family. And until we meet again, may the good Lord bless you and keep you throughout this new week. And remember, God loves you and He wants you to be in health.